Well, good morning. It is an absolute honour for me to attend this parade, to commemorate the devoted service of the Irish regiments of the British Army and the Commonwealth Forces. And may I commend you as the veterans, the serving soldiers, and the cadets alike for your outstanding turnout and immaculate drill today. And on behalf of all here present, thank you to the bands of the London Irish Rifles and of the Irish Guards for your stirring musical accompaniment. Marching proudly within you all is an unmatched martial tradition, a fighting spirit that is renowned and feted the world over. Because the story of the Irish soldier in the service of the Crown is one characterised by raw courage, steadfast discipline, and a matchless humour, the crack. They have been drawn from every walk of life across Ireland, or have been linked to it through familial blood or by chance. They came from the cities and the farms, the factories and the schools, unified by a common cause and sustained by a deep sense of duty. It is a story that I personally have known intimately my whole life. My grandfather, brought up in Ireland, served in the 5th Royal Enniskillen Dragoon Guards before and during World War II, and my stepfather served as a wartime officer in the Irish Guards in Europe. I followed him into the same regiment, and my formative experience as a soldier owes much to that fine battalion of Irish Guardsmen. That apprenticeship feels particularly appropriate, given that the Irish Guards themselves were formed on the orders of Queen Victoria in 1900 to recognise the service of all of the Irish regiments that had fought in the wars in South Africa. So today's parade is a renewal of that shared commitment to remember the high example set by the combined Irish regiments and the selfless sacrifice of their soldiers. And theirs, of course, is a human story rich in history and replete with remarkable consequence. Be it from the 27th Royal Enniskillen Fusiliers, left dead in square at Waterloo, to the dash of the Ulster Division on the Schwaben Redoubt, to the desperate stand of the Royal Ulster Rifles and the 8th Hussars, fighting side by side on the Imjin River. The Irish regiments have never found themselves far from the fiercest of actions, and they are integral to the moral fabric that makes up the British and Commonwealth armies, and the role they played in safeguarding the honour of our nation and of defending the prosperity and the freedoms we enjoy today is disproportionately significant. And so it is difficult to fully articulate that unique spirit which animates the Irish soldier, though it is something we can all instinctively recognise. An officer of the 7th Leinsters, describing a forgotten trench raid sometime in June 1916, sums it up for me, and this is what he wrote. So the pipes lifted the Irish out of their trenches and over the parapet with O'Donnell Abood. I don't know how many times those war pipes have played that song up and down the glens of Old Munster, but they never did better work. The men were magnificent. One sapper officer who had been looking after the mines said, "I had no idea men could be as tough as you Leinsters." They threw their bombs and they went in with bayonet, and one little fellow was found on top of 3 dead Prussians, his hands gripped around the throat of the tallest, and another wee drummer came staggering back over no man's land under a torrent of shells with a wounded sapper on his back. But if tenacity and courage defines them on the battlefield, it is their generosity of character that has marked their conduct when the guns have fallen silent. The visit of the pipes of the Irish Brigade to St. Peter's Square did much to raise the flagging spirit of the recently liberated people of Rome in July 1944, and that is remembered in the city even now. So in looking to today's strategic horizon, it is difficult to remember a time when the calculation around our decision makers has looked so dangerous. The threats we all face are converging, are interdependent, and are increasingly challenged to manage. Our adversaries literally seek to dismantle the Euro-Atlantic security architecture that has guaranteed the sometimes fragile peace since 1945. So these are real and present dangers to our national security, and they provide the Army a renewed and unifying purpose, alongside those of our NATO allies and partners. And that is something reinforced by the welcome direction of the recently announced Strategic Defence Review. So we will reorganise and re-equip to reflect what the nation requires of us, and in light of the lessons of wars in recent times, including from Ukraine, of course. But people will remain at the very heart of what it is that we do, and they are the point of difference over any adversary we will ever meet. And I will expect Irish soldiers and the Irish regiments, as ever, to play their part to the utmost. And I've seen their work at first hand. I recently visited the Royal Dragoon Guards, conducting their first tour of duty as the Forward Land Force Battle Group in Estonia. Here, not only did they have to adapt to a pretty harsh Baltic winter, but they innovated and delivered an entire new tactical concept, integrating it with French and Estonian allies, all the while securing a vulnerable flank on behalf of NATO. And as I speak, the 1st Battalion, the Royal Irish Regiment, are deployed on Operation Shader in Iraq, fulfilling an enduring multilateral commitment we have made to the continued security of that nation. So to conclude, thank you for taking the time to mark the service of the combined Irish regiments, past, present, and future. You are the custodians of a noble and fine tradition and heritage, and you should be fiercely proud of the identity that imbues within you. And let it inspire you to meet the challenges that lie ahead, such that we may again prove equal to the example and the worthy of the sacrifice of those who have gone before us, all in the pursuit of the highest ideals for which they fought, and many died. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Chief General Staff.